Welcome to Book Echo, where we decode a book for you in 15 minutes. Today, we're exploring Damn Right, behind the scenes with Berkshire Hathaway billionaire Charlie Munger. In 1954, a 29-year-old lawyer was experiencing a low point in his life: divorce, near bankruptcy, and the recent loss of his young son. If someone had told him that in the coming decades he would become one of the world's most successful investors, partnering with Warren Buffett to build a company worth over $500 billion, he might have scoffed. But this is the story of Charlie Munger, a legend of rebirth from adversity, continuous learning, and extraordinary achievement. While Munger's name may not be as household as Buffett's, his influence is equally profound. In the investment world, he's known for his unique, multiple mental models. In the business world, he's hailed as a living encyclopedia, and to ordinary people, he's a wise life mentor. What shaped Charlie Munger into who he is today? What allows him to have such profound insights into various aspects of business, investment, and life? What lessons can we draw from his way of thinking and life philosophy? In the next 15 minutes, we'll explore Charlie Munger's legendary life, understand his core ideas, and see how these ideas shaped his success. Whether you're interested in investing or simply want to become wiser in life, Munger's story is worth savoring. First, let's look at the early experiences that shaped Munger. Charlie Munger's life story is a legend of wisdom, resilience, and continuous learning. He was born in 1924 in Omaha, Nebraska, the hometown of his future business partner, Warren Buffett. Munger's father, Alfred, was a successful lawyer, and his mother, Florence, was a wise homemaker. This family environment laid a solid foundation for Munger's growth. From a young age, Munger showed extraordinary wisdom and independent thinking. His father often took him to court debates, experiences that cultivated Munger's rigorous, logical thinking and dialectical abilities. Munger recalled, "My father always encouraged me to think independently. He would ask my opinion on a case and then patiently listen to my analysis. Even if my views were naive, he never mocked me, but guided me to think about deeper issues." Munger's mother played an important role in shaping his character. She taught Munger to be honest, diligent, and empathetic. Munger once said, "My mother always told me to put myself in others' shoes. This teaching has influenced me throughout my life." At school, Munger was an excellent student, but he wasn't satisfied with just classroom knowledge. He was obsessed with reading, often spending a lot of time in the library. He said, "I met the greatest sages in books, not in the classroom. I can't remember when I first read Benjamin Franklin. When I was 7 or 8, I had a portrait of Thomas Jefferson hanging by my bed." This love for reading laid the foundation for Munger to later become a master of interdisciplinary thinking. He read not only history and philosophy, but also developed a keen interest in science and mathematics. Munger recalled, "I remember once spending an entire weekend trying to understand Euclidean geometry. When I finally grasped those theorems, I felt an indescribable excitement." In 1941, the Pearl Harbor incident changed the course of Munger's life. Then, studying mathematics at the University of Michigan, he resolutely joined the Army and was assigned to study meteorology at the California Institute of Technology. This experience had a profound impact on Munger's way of thinking. He said, "In the Army, I learned how to make decisions in uncertain situations. Weather forecasting is essentially a probability game, which made me realize that in life, we often need to make judgments with incomplete information." During his military service, Munger was responsible for forecasting weather for pilots. This job required him to comprehensively analyze large amounts of data and make accurate judgments in a short time. Munger recalled, "Once, my forecast helped a flight squadron avoid a dangerous storm. At that moment, I deeply understood how knowledge and judgment could save lives." This experience not only honed his analytical skills, but also cultivated his keen sense of risk management. After World War II, Munger made a bold decision to apply directly to Harvard Law School, even though he didn't have an undergraduate degree at the time. Surprisingly, Harvard accepted his application. Munger later explained, "I think this might have been because I performed well on the entrance exam, plus my experience in the military. But more importantly, I demonstrated my passion for law and learning ability in my application letter." At Harvard Law School, Munger immersed himself in an intellectual feast. He not only studied law but also audited courses in economics and psychology. Munger said, "Law school taught me how to think, how to analyze complex problems. But I found that true wisdom often exists at the intersection of different disciplines." In 1948, he graduated from Harvard with honors and began his career as a lawyer. However, life wasn't always smooth sailing. In 1953, at 29, Munger experienced a low point in his life. Divorce, near bankruptcy, living in a shabby bachelor apartment, driving an old Pontiac car. Munger recalled, "It was a difficult period. I remember sitting in that broken-down car one night, watching raindrops under the streetlight, contemplating my life. At that moment, I decided to stop feeling sorry for myself, for past failures, and start over." Worse still, the following year, his 9-year-old son Teddy was diagnosed with leukemia. Munger said, "When the doctor told us Teddy's diagnosis, I felt the whole world collapse. But I knew I had to stay strong, to hold up this family for Teddy and the other children." During Teddy's illness, Munger would go to the hospital every day to accompany him, while still juggling work and caring for other children. He said, "That time taught me the fragility and preciousness of life. It made me cherish every day, cherish the people around me." In 1955, Teddy sadly passed away. Faced with such a blow, Munger showed extraordinary resilience. He said, "You should never turn one tragedy into 2 or 3 due to a failure of will when faced with an unbelievable tragedy." Instead of letting grief overwhelm him, Munger transformed this pain into motivation, inspiring himself to work and learn even harder. During this difficult period, Munger began to re-examine his life direction. He realized that although a legal career could bring stable income, it couldn't satisfy his desire for wealth accumulation. Munger recalled, "I started thinking about how to truly achieve financial freedom. I realized that relying on salary alone wasn't enough. I needed to make money work for me." So Munger began to venture into real estate development and investment. His first real estate project was buying an apartment building in Los Angeles, then renovating and renting it out. Munger said, "It was a risk, but also a valuable learning experience. I learned how to evaluate assets, how to manage projects, how to deal with people. These skills later came in handy in my investment career." In 1959, Munger met Warren Buffett at a dinner in Omaha, an encounter that changed the course of both their lives. Munger recalled, "When Warren started talking about investing, I was immediately attracted by his insights. We had similar values and ways of thinking, but Warren had much more experience in the investment field." Buffett convinced Munger that law wasn't the best use of his talents. Munger said, "Warren showed me the charm of investing. He made me realize that through wise investments, I could create wealth far exceeding a lawyer's income. More importantly, investing gave me greater freedom to think and live in my own way." Under Buffett's influence, Munger gradually shifted his focus to investing. He began reading a lot of investment-related books and studying successful investors' strategies. Munger said, "I absorbed knowledge like a sponge. I not only learned financial knowledge, but also studied psychology, history, science, and various other fields. I believe a good investor needs a broad knowledge base." In 1962, Munger established his own investment company, Wheeler, Munger & Company. He adopted a value investing strategy similar to Buffett's, focusing on finding undervalued quality companies. Munger recalled, "Our first major investment was blue chip stamps. The company was severely undervalued by the market at the time, but we saw its potential." Between 1962 and 1975, Munger's company achieved an average annual return of 19.8%, far exceeding the Dow Jones Index's 5% return. This experience not only proved Munger's talent in the investment field, but also laid the foundation for his later collaboration with Buffett. Munger said, "Those years taught me many things. I learned how to analyze companies, how to evaluate management, how to stay calm amid market fluctuations. These experiences were invaluable to me." Munger's investment style was initially deeply influenced by Benjamin Graham, focusing on finding undervalued stocks. However, over time, he began to develop his own unique investment philosophy. He gradually realized that merely relying on financial statements to find cheap stocks wasn't enough. truly excellent investments required a deep understanding of businesses and industries. This shift in thinking was fully demonstrated in the acquisition of See's Candies in 1972. This was the first time Munger and Buffett paid a price higher than book value for a company. Munger later stated, "See's Candies taught us the value of branding. It made us realize that a strong brand can create a lasting competitive advantage, which is more valuable than mere asset value." Through these early experiences and challenges, Munger gradually formed his unique values and way of thinking. He firmly believed in the importance of lifelong learning, constantly drawing knowledge from various disciplines, forming his famous multiple mental models. His experiences also gave him a deep understanding of the value of patience and long-term thinking, which became key factors in his later investment success. Munger's early experiences demonstrate how one can achieve extraordinary success in life and career through continuous learning, overcoming adversity, and maintaining an open mind. His story is not just a business legend, but a life inspiration about wisdom, resilience, and constant growth. Next, let's look at the second part, Munger's golden partnership with Buffett. Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett's collaboration is considered one of the most successful partnerships in business history. Their cooperation began with a chance meeting in 1959, but quickly developed into a deep friendship and business partnership. Munger's process of joining Berkshire Hathaway was gradual. In 1962, Munger began exchanging investment ideas with Buffett. They often discussed investment opportunities over the phone, sometimes even investing in the same company with another California investor, Rick Guerin. The most famous joint investment from this period was blue chip stamps. In 1978, Munger officially became the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. This decision marked Munger's transition from directly managing investment funds to building equity through a holding company. He liquidated Wheeler & Munger Company and converted its shares in blue chip stamps and diversified retailing into Berkshire Hathaway stock. Munger and Buffett's collaboration brought enormous success to Berkshire Hathaway. Under their leadership, the company's value grew by about 2 million%, equivalent to 20,000 times. This astonishing achievement was realized through investing in more and more quality businesses, without relying on dangerous borrowing. Munger's role in Berkshire Hathaway was far more than just Buffett's deputy. He provided unique perspectives and insights for the company's investment decisions. For example, the decision to acquire See's Candies in 1972 was made on Munger's advice. This acquisition marked a significant shift in Berkshire Hathaway's investment strategy, from simply looking for cheap stocks to buying quality businesses. Munger and Buffett's collaboration was so successful, largely due to their complementary personalities and skills. Buffett excels at dealing with people and is the company's public face, while Munger is more outspoken, often offering sharp insights at shareholder meetings. Buffett once said, "Charlie has a way of thinking that's unique. He hears music others can't hear." Although Munger and Buffett agree on many things, they also have disagreements. For example, Munger recognized the investment value of technology companies earlier than Buffett did. It was under Munger's influence that Berkshire Hathaway began investing in Apple, which has become one of the company's most successful investments in recent years. Munger and Buffett's collaboration is not limited to investment decisions. They also jointly shaped Berkshire Hathaway's unique corporate culture. This culture emphasizes integrity, long-term thinking, and rational decision-making, values deeply rooted in every decision of the company. Overall, Munger and Buffett's partnership demonstrates how an excellent business partnership can create synergies, achieving far more than the sum of individual abilities. Their story is not just a business legend, but also a story about friendship, complementarity, and shared values. Next, let's understand Munger's investment wisdom. Charlie Munger's investment philosophy is built on a deep interdisciplinary knowledge base and a unique way of thinking. His investment wisdom can be summarized in the following core principles. Principle 1. Multiple mental models. Munger firmly believes that to become an excellent investor, one must possess a broad knowledge base. He advocates building a latticework of mental models composed of core principles from various disciplines. These disciplines include psychology, economics, physics, biology, and history, among others. Munger believes that by comprehensively applying these mental models, investors can more thoroughly analyze complex business problems. For example, when analyzing a company, Munger would not only consider financial data, but also use psychological principles to evaluate management's decision-making tendencies, economic theories to analyze industry competitive landscapes, and even borrow concepts like critical mass from physics to judge a company's development potential. Principle 2. Value investment principles. Although Munger's investment philosophy has transcended traditional Graham-style value investing, he still adheres to the core principles of value investing. He emphasizes buying quality businesses at reasonable prices and holding them for the long term. Munger particularly values a company's moat or sustainable competitive advantage. He believes that only businesses with strong moats can create value for shareholders in the long run. This concept has been fully demonstrated in Berkshire Hathaway's numerous acquisitions, such as Coca-Cola and American Express. Principle 3. Concentrated investment strategy. Contrary to many theories advocating diversification, Munger advocates concentrated investment. He believes that excessive diversification leads to insufficient time and energy invested in each investment decision, thereby reducing overall returns. Munger once said, "Diversification is protection against ignorance. It makes little sense for those who know what they're doing." This concept is fully reflected in Berkshire Hathaway's investment portfolio, where most of the company's value is concentrated in a few core holdings. Principle 4. Inverse thinking. Munger often emphasizes the importance of thinking backwards. He believes that to solve a complex problem, sometimes thinking from the opposite direction can be more effective. For example, instead of thinking about how to succeed, think about how to avoid failure. This way of thinking has helped Munger avoid many common pitfalls in investment decisions. For instance, when evaluating a company, he not only considers the company's strengths, but also pays special attention to factors that could lead to the company's failure. Principle 5. Patience and long-term thinking. Munger firmly believes that investing requires great patience. He believes that true value often takes time to manifest, so investors should be prepared to hold quality assets for the long term. This long-term attitude allows Munger and Buffett to remain calm during market fluctuations and seize opportunities when other investors panic. For example, during the 2008 financial crisis, Berkshire Hathaway made major investments in Goldman Sachs and Bank of America, which later yielded substantial returns. Through these investment principles, Munger not only achieved great success in personal investing, but also made significant contributions to Berkshire Hathaway's long-term excellent performance. His investment wisdom has influenced generations of investors and provided valuable insights for the development of modern investment theory. This concludes our interpretation of this book. Let's review the insights Charlie Munger's legendary life has given us. Perhaps Munger's greatest wealth in life is his multiple mental models. This interdisciplinary way of thinking not only helped him achieve great success in the investment field, but is also his trump card for dealing with life's challenges. Munger tells us that true wisdom comes not only from professional knowledge, but also from extensive learning and deep thinking. He encourages us to build our own latticework of mental models, a thinking toolbox composed of core principles from various disciplines. This method can help us analyze problems more comprehensively and make wiser decisions. Whether in the workplace or in life, this ability to think across disciplines can help us maintain competitiveness and adaptability in this rapidly changing world. Munger's story reminds us that success is not achieved overnight, but requires continuous learning, patience, and a long-term attitude. His experience tells us that even in the face of failure and setbacks, as long as we maintain our enthusiasm for learning and the ability to think rationally, we can always find a path to success. Let us remember Munger's wisdom, build multiple mental models, maintain a lifelong learning attitude, and stay rational and patient when facing challenges. This might be the most valuable wealth Munger has left us, a guide of wisdom that can guide us to keep moving forward on the path of life.